Glorious day to you, my friends. Kia kotora anahaski itara. Welcome to day number 124 of being, this blissful existence, illuminating and nurturing grace. Nihotora shanahakotorata. Where for 144 days we're going to be spending time with our inner being. And we're going to do it the easy way. We're going to breathe and we're going to chant. And we're going to let our inner being do all the rest. The imagery they gave me at the beginning is we're spiraling up the Great Pyramid to the edge of the matrix. We're going to poke our head to the hub of the Dharma chakra. Use the Eye of Providence to gain a divine perspective on this reality. Today is the first day of the Heart Center, this 8-day segment. And each of these 8 days, we're going to talk about, we're going to subtly deal with, we're going to utilize, there we go. We're going to utilize each of the petals of Hrit. We're combining both Anahata, the heart chakra, and Hrit, some call it the higher heart chakra, some call it the lower heart chakra. It's the Brahma Vihara. It's Hrit means heart. Hridaya, this heart life. And in this segment, this 8-day segment, we're subtly dealing with the heart center and the Mano Maya Kosha. Mano, mind. And this function of the mind, but it's the heart mind. Let's think of it that way. It's easier. During the first 55 days, since we're spiraling, we're using the Fibonacci sequence, the golden spiral. During the first 55-day segment, we subtly dealt with Vasundhara, the Earth Star Chakra, our root system, and the Annamaya Kosha, this layer, the outermost layer of ourselves that is dwelling in this physicality and utilizing this physicality for mostly everything. And Anna means food, and the yes, the invitation from that 55-day segment was to place more of our roots into our heart center for the nourishment of our soul. And the question we ask is, what is truly nourishing to us? During the next 34-day segment, we were subtly dealing with Muladhara, the root chakra. And we've went in a layer to the Pranamaya Kosha, this subtle body, our energetic body, and all the pathways in it that utilize prana, this life force energy, to send this true energy throughout our physical body and our energetic body and our spiritual body. In the invitation from that 34-day segment, we're going to get there, is to place more of our foundation in our heart center as we utilize prana, besides the breath prana, use the life force energy, which is the true nourishment, to nourish our light body, our spiritual being. During the next 21-day segment, we were subtly dealing with Svadhisthana, the sacral chakra, where the self is established, while still utilizing the Pranamaya Kosha. As we energetically transition from the physical into the heart center, this 21-day segment mirrored the fool's journey. As the fool, each and every one of us, met each of the 21 different archetypes to make ourselves whole, or to integrate each of these aspects of ourselves that are already here. We're integrating them up here so that we see ourselves as complete. And where the self is established, the invitation was to release all these senses of self, these 21 senses of the self, so we can realize our true self, see and be our true self in our heart center. And on day number 108, we were on day number 19 of Svadhisthana, which is the sun card, our true self. And after we chanted, in theory, we started being our true authentic self. I mean, up here too. We can't help but be our true authentic self. We're splitting hairs here. We're going with the theme here. And in the previous 13-day segment that we just finished up yesterday, we were subtly dealing with Manipura, the jeweled city. Manipura has to do with our intention, our joy, our pleasure, our willpower. Who's in control? And the invitation from that 13-day segment is to allow the center of our being, number 13 in the 12, to be really in control, to release this sense of control over our lives. As we release the last bit of that physicality, where we practiced asana, and we practiced pranayama, and we practice pratyahara. This, at the beginning, it's withdrawal of the senses. In each of these senses, our sense of foundation in Muladhara, our sense of self in Svadhisthana, and our sense of control in Manipura. Pratyahara is, as Patanjali described it, I'm paraphrasing, respecting everything, allowing ourselves to rest in our own true nature, and then everything else that we see, including our senses, allow each of these senses to rest in their own true nature. Rest in their own true nature. So each of these senses, through this ultimate respect of each of these senses that we dove into this lifetime to engage in and to experience, as we allow them to be who they are. And we're not trying to stop it or enhance it. We're just being. We're being and they're being. And there's the harmony. In Kabbalah, thank you. I wasn't even going to touch that. Kabbalah separates the four lower Sephirot. Malkuth, the kingdom, Yesod, Netzach, and Hod. This eternity, this glory, this foundation and kingdom represent our lower chakras. And Kabbalah defines or calls the difference. There are three triangles. There's a lower triangle, there's the triangle in the center, the heart triangle, and then the upper triangle. How we connect with God, or Ansaf, this infiniteness, ineffability. Kabbalah calls it the veil. and getting into the heart space. All these veils of the senses, this veil of control, this veil of the ego is the toughest one to push away the curtains so we can actually see and be in our heart center. Well, we're here now. We've pulled it away. We've practiced both aparigraha, this releasing, the unclasping of all these senses, and then we've practiced the respect of pratyahara and allow each of those senses to just be while we just be here. Now that we've made this, we've walked through the veil. We've opened up the veil. February 11th, 2024. February 2. Unity. Divine masculine, divine feminine, the upward facing triangle and the downward facing triangle of Anahata. Eleven, we're the master. We're the master. We're becoming the master of the heart. And 8. 2 plus 2 plus 4 is 8. It's about abundance. It's about earth. It's about the 8 petals of Hrit. There's also 12 petals in Anahata. These 12 different outer aspects of us. But this Hrit, this true self, is the center of this grid of Anahata. Each of these 12 petals have 9 energetic pathways coming into them. There's 108 energetic pathways coming into the heart. Once we understand this, our true self, and we've released the sense of control, those 13 senses of control. Now we're in the heart. Okay. You've seen the thumbnail photo, the lead photo, artwork. It's a yantra, this tool of purification, of embodiment, of utilizing the perfection of it. It's got Anahata and Hrit. It's got Tibetan. It's got Om Mani Padme Hum. It's got Soham. It's got Hamsa. We're going to talk about Hamsa. For these 8 days, we're doing another twist on Om Soham. Ham Soham. Hamsa. It's just the 2 syllables of Soham. Swap them around. That's it. Sa is still the breath in, and Ha is still the breath out. I am that. I am the universe. I am the supreme consciousness. Soham. That which I observe. I see it. Hamsa is the same thing, just in a different order. But Hamsa means the swan. It means the rays of light, the rays of the sun. It also represents the 108 energetic pathways out of the heart center, out of the Brahma Vihara. The way they want to describe the 8 petals, besides, if you look up Hrit and you find the 8 superpowers, the 8 Bij mantras of each of the petals have a name. We're not going to talk about those. We're going to keep it simple. We're going to map each of these 8 petals to the 4 directions, or the 8 festivals of the Wheel of the Year. Okay? We just passed Imbolc, this halfway in between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. That's where we're starting. We're starting, let's see, from your vantage point, we're starting down there. In southeast. To start breathing from the not breathing state, we have to start. We have to set our intention. Each of the quarter festivals of Sama, Vritti, Pranayama, box breath, where we breathe in for a count of 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, and then we hold our breath for a count of, for this, 6 or 3, and we breathe out for a count of 3, and we hold our breath with an empty set of lungs for a count of 3. Sama, Vritti, Pranayama. We're down here. We're deciding to breathe. We're deciding to live. That's the first step. Out of our slumber. That's what 1111 is all about. We're awakening consciousness. We're choosing to breathe in. We open up our lungs and start the breath in process. That's what this first petal is all about. That's what the beginnings of our breath, the beginnings of Samavritti Pranayama is all about. This is Imbolc. This is halfway between this death, this slumber, this consciously unaware, this being, winter solstice, new moon. We just had a new moon. And this first eighth. This is the first quarter, and that's tomorrow. This is spring equinox. We're in balance. We're in the middle of breathing in. And then up here, where we stop the breath in, where we close off, and then we start exploring the energy at the height of life, summer solstice. We're building our shine. We're shining. We're polishing our jewel. And then we get over here to the ignition phase. And then we ignite. We open up another conscious decision. These are conscious decisions on the quarter festivals. Conscious decisions. This is just continuing, which is why in paganism, in Irish paganism, the quarter festivals are the more important festivals. They're the fire festivals because they require intention to do it. And these are just the continuing and the allowing festivals. We're celebrating. Hamsa. We're the swan. Hamsa means swan. Hamsa also means 5 in various languages. 5 are 5 senses. 5 is the number of the human. 5 is the number of change. When we're living, we're causing change. Now, the grace of the swan is perfect imagery. The swan, the Hamsa, represents our divine self, our Atman, this divine soul, Brahman. Yeah, I was going to say Brahmananda. That too. And the swan has this ability to separate milk from water. So if you water down milk, it can separate those things. And that's a representation of our inner being separating the soma, this ocean of milk, from the water, from this other things that aren't as valuable. Our inner being has this ability. And when we adopt our heart mind as our conscious mind, that's what this, as we live more from our heart center, live in our abode of God, our Brahma Vihara, or when we allow our inner being to live more fully in our lives, or we allow God to live through us. all mean the same thing. Hamsa is another name for each and every one of us. Just like Soham, Soham is a realization. I breathe in, I am. Sa aham. Ham, aham, sa, I am, and I breathe. Sa and ha also represent the changes that we create. It represents the breath in, the breath out, but it's the taking in the input from the universe, breathing in the prana. This is everybody else's output. We breathe it in when we breathe in the prana. Everyone else's realizations, everyone else's vibration, we're all one anyway. And if we're the Supreme Consciousness in our lotus of awareness, that's what the Supreme Consciousness is doing through all these ideas of separation. There's no judgment. It just breathes them in. And then a Supreme Consciousness simply breathes out its realization of all of that and sends it out. Same thing that we do. Ours is just a different perspective through separation. So the chant in both the Mala of Joy and the utilizing the Ananda chakra is the same chant during this 8-day segment. So we've pushed down the chant. We're done with Pranamaya Kosha because we realize that we're utilizing the real prana, this real life force energy. And we started out with Om Mani Padme Hum and chanting Om Ahung as we reached up using the Ananda chakra as a reminder to ourselves. And then when we moved up to Muladhara and started utilizing the Pranamaya Kosha, we rolled the chants down. We started chanting Om Ahum with the Mala of Joy, and then we reached up with Soham using the Ananda chakra. Now we're shifting Soham down to Soham, but we're mixing it up. We're doing both Hamsa and Soham in Ham, Soham. It means so much. Read not the description. I got to redo the description too. The comment. A lot about Hamsa and Ham Soham. One of the things, Soham is almost exactly like Soham. It's us recognizing our divinity, that I am the Supreme Consciousness. Soham. And the opposite of, they call it the opposite. There's a saying that the infant in the womb is chanting Koham. And the Koham is, who am I? And Soham is, I am the Supreme Consciousness. And we can think of it as when we decide to incarnate, we're deciding to forget so we can experience all this stuff all over again. That's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is we're intentionally focusing on a blank slate. Koham. This omnipresent soul. Ko. If Ka is a soul, then yeah, Ko can be. Ko is also the thread, this thread of life. And in this life, represented by an infant in the womb, it's starting a new life. It's creating a brand new Mala of Joy. And it can't wait to start having experiences, threading those experiences, these pearls, on their mala of joy. They are the thread. Their life is the thread, the Soham. I am the thread of my life. And we focused on purpose. If we say that we forgot, then the opposite is, I need to remember. But we don't need to remember. We can't help but be ourselves, to be our true authentic self. There's nothing to remember. Which is why we're doing this the simple way. We're going to breathe and we're going to chant. That's it. That's it. When our mind is consumed with breathing and chanting, it's not consumed with who I am. It's not consumed with who did what to me. What am I going to do later? It's not consumed with any of those things, which allows our true self to be, allows our true self to rest in its true nature. Hamsa means so many things. So as we intentionally open up, we intentionally start to breathe. We intentionally start to breathe. We intentionally start to chant. We intentionally start this process of life. And just like Patanjali started, Atta, he started the sutras with Atta. And it doesn't necessarily mean now. Up until now, all that was great. But looking forward, all that was great. Let's look forward. Atta. It's not just now. It's forward ho. Katit kanaryata. Engage in life. Soham and Hamsa are both the definitions of this gentle tuning of our vibration. As we simply allow our true self to shine. So the chant, the process, the same as we've been doing, but this chant, using the Mala of Joy, hum, Soham. And then we'll meditate with our true self, our inner being, and then we'll chant hum, Soham another 36 times as we dwell in our lotus of awareness, as we dance our dance of joy and spin around, as we churn, as we create our vortex of life, our vortex of change, our vortex of experience. We do so intentionally from the heart. There's so much more to talk about. Rit. Anahata, this unstruck sound. The comment, it's got all of that. I encourage you to do some reading. And then do your own research. And then chant. And then experience. Kanito urota anahaska aya. Isha anata karyata. This is an interesting day. Kisuhu tore anakutoretata. So, I invite you to relax. Whether you lie down, whether you sit, or whether you sit in seated meditation. It does not matter. Comfort and ease are what's important. As we focus our awareness on our breath, as we intentionally breathe, by simply slowly lengthening and deepening our breath. Breathing in, relaxing. Breathing out, ease. Breathing in, comfort. And breathing out, joy. Breathing in, ease. And breathing out, satisfaction. Breathing in, prana. And simply shining out our light. Breathing in, Soham. And breathing out, Hamsa. Breathing in, Soham. And breathing out, Hamsa. Now let us focus our awareness on our heart center. As we switch over to Sama Vritti Pranayama, box breath. For in our heart center is the home of our holy fire, is the home of our Holy Spirit, is the home of our Brahma Vihara, the home of our true self. And all these are the source of our bright light. And every breath that we take with intention fans the flames of our holy fire and increases our already bright light. Now let us take our holy fire, our true self, our Hamsa, and let's elegantly sail through the ocean of milk, up into the highest source of consciousness, into the Soham, into the One, into the Sun, and bringing back pure holy fire, pure true self, pure Soham, and bringing that back down gracefully through all the churning of the milk, the soma, and the water, and unifying all these energies and ideas into the heart center, unifying Soham and Hamsa into Hum, Soham. I am the Supreme Consciousness. Hum, Soham. Now taking this Hum, Soham, this unified energy, this one and the zero, this Hari and the Om, the sun and the moon, and bringing it down into all of creation, into the earth, into the density, into the abundance, into the eight, and bringing back, recognizing that we are that, so hum, what we observe, what we create, and bringing that back and unifying back into the heart center. Unifying all these energies and ideas, unifying the one, the zero, and the eight, unifying the sun, the moon, and the earth, unifying Soham, Hamsa, in this ocean of milk, in this ocean of water. Continuing this divine flow called life. Katigatar yana asuhutur aya ashana hakatura ataya sakanaha siyara yaya atakaratahana aya. And now with intention, let us shine this unified energy, this Hum, Soham, out into every aspect of our awareness, in every way, and everywhere, and every when. Yatakarishana ohutora, harsiya, yayaka anahata karaha. As we begin to chant, starting off with Aum, which is simply Om, the primordial sound of the universe, stretched into its three sound components. Ah for the heart, Ooh for the root, and for the savoring and embodying. And then chanting Hum, Soham, 108 times, using the Mala of Joy. And then switching it up, we're going to transition with Aying, which is simply aim, the Bij mantra of abundance, of this realization of Hum, Soham. Simply aim stretched into its three sound components. Ah for the heart, E for the crown, and Ing for the resonation and savoring of everything. A breath in for Aum. A breath in to chant. Hum, Soham, Hum, Soham, Hum, Soham, Hum, Soham, Hum, Soham, Hum, Soham, Hum, Hum, Soham. 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 Hum, Soham, Ham, 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 Soham. Last one. Ham, Soham. A breath in, praying. let us spend time with our inner being and our true nature, utilizing the wisdom of the chants. Om Mani Padme Hum. We are the jewel of the lotus. Om Ma Hum. We are this wisdom in the emptiness. Om Soham. I am that. I am the Supreme Consciousness. Hum. Soham. I am the Supreme Consciousness, and it is me. I am the swan. I am all it is. With this wisdom comes a realization. There is nothing to know. There is nothing to see. So let's spend time in the emptiness, allowing awareness to be. When you are ready, let us thank ourselves for spending time with our inner being in our lotus of awareness, in our Brahma Vihara, in our true nature. In our true nature. In Anahata, in Rit. As we continue to chant, transitioning with Aying, and then chanting Hum, Soham 36 times using the Ananda chakra. And then concluding with Aum. A breath in for Aying. Aying. A breath in to chant. Hum, Soham. 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 Last one. Hum, Soham. breath in for Aum. Aum. When you are ready, slowly bring awareness back to the here and now. Maybe invite in some gentle movements. Maybe shrug your shoulders. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you are ready, open your eyes and welcome in the new now. Hutur utahana eta. Shia takarana eto. Hutu urhukaya ashana ikutoro. Thank you, my friends. Not thank you yet. Yes, congratulations. There we go. Congratulations, my friends. We have completed day number 124. Day number 1 of this 8-day segment of Hridaya, our heart center, of being, this blissful existence, illuminating and nurturing grace. I encourage you to journal. If for the simple sake of just getting it out and down, whether you keep it or whether you keep it for a future moment where it may become relevant again. So one thing they shared is Soham is the divine flow. Just like 108. This is about intention. Intentionally breathing in, intentionally living life. This is what day 1 is about. With the grace of a swan, the grace of our inner being, our Atman, our Jiva, Atman, our living soul. Nioroshana okutoryoto anna. Kiso hukutoryocha anna eti takarata eha. Shoyoko ohorota anna hasaya. As we start yet another cycle, as we allow our heart mind, as we allow our true authentic self. So I thank you, my friends, for sharing in my highest bliss. And shine on from your inner being, with your inner being, as your inner being. It is the most natural thing for you to do. And make it a great day. Because why would you leave it up to anyone else?